Our appetizer is going to be this Washington Justice versus London Spitfire matchup first, Matthew. And it is definitely a great way to wet our whistle for a long day.
It's probably hard for Bo to understand that as well. That cat sounds like he's hungry. He's just screaming there at Custa during the whole show. But
yeah, if a cat could scream, that's what it sounds like. Exactly.
Yeah, right? I mean, look, London, they get dominated yesterday. Nothing extremely surprising. Yeah. We have seen them play teams pretty close. Washington, we expect great things from. Their last match against Florida Mayhem, I believe we casted that. It was a little all over the place. It was not like it was a convincing win, but it was messy on both sides. So I really want to see how they come out and look today. Even with a great performance against a team like London, I still think the kind of jury is out on the Justice, as nothing too surprising with the starting lineup. It seems like ever since those 2-3 games where Decay was out, he's now back in all the time.
Yeah, obviously Assassin, as we highlighted, the best tracer in the league by a very healthy margin. Mag's Winston play has been particularly good, according to IBM Watson, even if some of his other roles haven't exactly been up there. And of course, Closer is the least decimally Lucio in the league. I talked about that before. But again, I think the focus is definitely on the Sombra play here. We've seen quite a few teams that have, tried to incorporate that. Sombra Tracer, as the desk pointed out, fits this team really well, and especially with Mag playing as much Winston as he has, Fury being so uncanny at shutting down ultimates with Defense Matrix on D.Va, you must think the Justice is really well positioned. They're 1-1 right now, but definitely with a chance to get themselves towards knockouts and further, if they tighten those shoelaces.
Yeah, and where they would look the best, like you mentioned, is with Mag on the Winston, like Assassin playing that Sombra, and then Decay on the Tracer. We can take a look at the Spitfire roster. Everybody still in high spirits here for London. Sparker has really made a difference since he's been put in. We've seen really nice things from him in terms of the hit scan DPS. I think Molfig has had some really nice moments. It's just getting consistency to beat those top teams, really just beat anybody at this point, where the London, when you looked at the beginning of the season, you thought they would be the stronger of the two EU teams with all the kind of accolades from contenders. It is not translated to the Overwatch League at all. 0-11, obviously some close games like I mentioned. Still, close games don't result in wins, right? You're still 0-11. You have to figure out a way to get a win.
I think that close match against San Francisco, though, does start to highlight a little bit of the ceiling of this team. And I think they're a lot further from this ceiling than a lot of other...
What's the ceiling? Close games against other teams?
No, it shows where the ceiling could be, right? It's quite high.
Right.
I just think they're further away from their ceiling than a lot of their opponents right now. And that is why you're in the league. You either get that opportunity. Against Atlanta, they were torrid. It was absolutely horrible from them. So, I mean, this is a team that you think, okay, London seemed like they had the proclivity to trend towards playing some double shield. They incorporate Wrecking Ball and the classic European contender style. Spark has looked very good on McCree, but also on Hangzhou. So he's not just restricted to playing those sort of hit scan DPS roles, and there might be a reason for him to pick up the Tracer here. Lijiang Tower is going to be our first map in this series. The Justice are 1-1 right now in the Summer Showdown, and they're looking to get themselves comfortably tracking towards knockouts.
And I think the Justice, this is a game where, you 3-0 Florida, you have to come in here and get a big win against London. Like we mentioned, close games against teams, but 0-11, if you want to be one of the best rosters in NA, you got to be able to put teams away, like the London Spitfire. So Justice, obviously, some time to make some changes compositionally. London, they could end up running something, with a Junkrat here. We'll have to see.
Definitely an option on Control Center. As a Symmetra, it wouldn't be a shock to see that. London playing a composition that really is a subject, or a product of the map itself more than any prevalent metagame. For the Justice, they'll have Assassin on the May, so that may end up being a major point of difference between these two. The Junkrat versus the May. Obviously, one's a bit more defensive, and one is looking to cause absolute chaos. Here they go. Huddy takes a big hit early on here on Blase. He's not in the fight. This is not ideal.
Well, they get Decay, which is pretty big because the Symmetra is such a large source of damage as these fights go on, where she charges up the beam on the tanks, especially the shields, right? Regens the ammo. It looks like you may be able to get a fight, though, here again. Fury will step onto the point to contest.
Assassin has to keep his wits about him. Those balls just keep coming towards him. Looks for the wall on Hardy, but takes a big hit from elsewhere and has to go for an ice block a little earlier than he would have liked. Decay's very low right now as well, but Spark is getting battered by the hammer. Mag sees an opportunity to go forward and get aggressive, and he makes the most of it. Hardy knocked to the ground, and Bebe cleans him up with the amplification matrix in play. And a long first fight comes out for the Justice.
Yeah, as London just didn't get aggressive enough, right? They get the kill on Decay, they get another kill. They let players just sit on the Justice side of the point. And just contest and wait until they have everybody back at full strength. And, you know, the Justice, given a second opportunity, are able to take that fight. Baze has a Riptire, playing at an off angle before. Let's see if he can get,
beautiful.
Get nothing with it, yeah.
Again, Mag knows one of two directions that's probably going to come from. The Fire Strike is insta-death for that Riptire. Here's an 8 Matrix that's going to force Mag out of position somewhat. The Blizzard used defensively here for Assassin, but he still wants to go forward with only, what, 50 or so HP. Hardy's frozen. Immortality Field was there to keep him alive. Great placement there from Reaper. Eventually it's going to be gone, and Mag finds the charge. Bit of NTD feel we're getting early on here from the Justice's Reinhardt, but he eventually is cut down to size by Sparker, and a sound barrier here for the Spitfire means they can brawl a little more. The fight is far from over, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, they use the sound barrier. They're going to be able to push through now, but where is the aggression to finish these fights off? They just let the Justice linger for so long, as they will flip the point. 54% for the Justice here at the start. So, next fight, you have this Shatter here for Hardy, which could be big.
I think this is his first, though, and Mag's about to get his second Earth Shatter.
Yeah.
Hardy's been getting a really tough time here. He got frozen by a Blizzard in the previous fight, but he's not really been positioned to do a lot of work. Both Ryans with Shatter. A little bit of a mind game going on, but Mag is one that brings it down, and Hardy never had a chance to use his Shatter. That's 2 from 2 for Mag. And that puts the Justice now ahead in players. They're going to keep Mag nice and topped up here. Plenty of ult charge for Bebe to get, and the Spitfire are in deep trouble.
And I think they need to reconsider this Junkrat. They're playing so passive with the Junkrat in an off angle, trying to put down enough damage to be a difference. But it's clearly not. You know, they have to play so passive, play off of the point, let the Junk poke from an angle, and then maybe try and get an advantage. But they're not really getting much of anything with it. And then there's also, you got nothing with the first tire. We'll see what happens here with the next one. It's just not as impactful as, let's say, a May could be.
This is the Spitfire's best opportunity all around, but they probably need to try and do this in a thrifty fashion. Can't be spending too many ultimates. That's 2-3 already now being used. And the Riptire, it's on the road. See the Justice really have folded back here in the shield. Oh no! They can't get rid of Mag, and now he's angry. He steps up. Hardy's Shatter is completely blocked. The only Shatter he's been able to build all round has been utterly denied, and the Blizzard here from Assassin really hits the mark. Immortality Field means the Justice can go a little bit hog wild, and they do. 99% on the clock now, and all Molt can do is contest. Justice Mini Diva, it's a sad end to a sorry round for the Spitfire. Reaper now will try and challenge, but that's really all she wrote so far. A pretty dominant beginning for the Justice, Matt.
Well, look, you get no value out of both Riptires, and you get no value out of both Earth Shatters.
Are you sure there was 2? Are you sure there was 2?
What,
I think
tires?
there was 1. I think there was 1
the
Shatter.
Shatter. Oh, okay, so even if you just stabbed with 1, you still got nothing with it. With 2 Blizzards on the other side, you're just not going to win that. And with how passive you have to play with the Junkrat at the off angle to get any type of value out of it, like they weren't playing the Junkrat, let's say, like with Hardy, right? Just kind of giving him an advantage in terms of shield. Just played in an off angle, just trying to pick up some kills.
Here come the Justice again. Looks like they'll keep the May in tow. This time the Spitfire decide, okay, well, we're going to try something a little bit different once more. The Doomfist now. I mean, again, we've seen Doomfist get a ton of value against May comps by getting that insta-kill against May, specifically with a rocket punch into a wall. Mag also isn't going to be a fan of this constant displacement threat from Doom.
Yeah, and this suits Blaze's playstyle a bit more, and then it also, like, what this will do is speed up the London Spitfire, where, you know, you have to play aggressive, you have to play fast with that Doomfist, where, you know, playing a little bit more passive before really hurt them in that first round. So the Doom is going to speed up that style of play, but Decay now will switch off of the Symmetra and go to Reaper, so the Reaper can be pretty effective against both the Symmetra and the Doom. We'll see, though, if the Justice can get close. You know, London, you have a lot of things where you can play by the point and do tons of burst damage.
Decay playing that right-hand side. He's TP'd somewhere to the back of the point. The Spitfire aren't ready for him. Mag's gone down, but Hardy gets traded out. The Immortality Field is enough to foil Decay's plans for the time being. And with Blase getting an extra one there on closer, could be a little bit messy here. The Spitfire, though, with Blase in the Doomfist role, much better.
Yeah, and think about how difficult it is to push into this point against the Sim Doom setup when they have control of the objective. The Sim Doom can, Sim can slow with the turrets, just be annoying. The Doomfist, obviously, with the one-shot potential, and the Reinhardt damage just coming down. A lot of nice things being able to use here. This be a seismic slam from above, maybe a meteor strike right after.
Fury takes it 4A, spots Blase at the top before he gets the drop down. A little bit disruptive to the plans of the Doomfist, and that's the Immortality Field down, Mag! Oh my! Shade of Lotto forces, he charges across the map, and he actually uses a shatter to end Hardy. Unreal! Definitely trying to impose himself on the enemy main tank right now, and he's leaving an impact, hammer-shaped or otherwise. Here come the Justice now to move to the point, and it's pretty much theirs for the taking with that Maywall in play. Blase will try and disrupt, but the point's already flipped.
Yeah, Hardy and Rippa get so split by the self-destruct from Fury. And then Mag just charges in, has the help, and they're able to take out both of his players, which flips the point. But yeah, they were never able to make it back towards their team. Instead of rotating back to the point, they went over towards that mega health pack over on the far side. Didn't work out. Let's see how they go about retaking. Some good ultimates here from the Justice to be able to build to some percentage, right? Both support ultimates, a Blizzard and a Death Blossom on the table.
Wall there, that's going to section off Hardy. Sheepishly, he tries to get away, but Decay's in the back line. He's just looking for safety of his own. He gets his Sojourner and he's ready to fight once more. Death Blossom is online. That wall would have been a problem, but now Immortality Field's out of the way. It's too late, though, for the Justice. The Spitfire are a full 6, and they charge back onto the point.
And they end up using both of those support ultimates. Both teams do. He never had an opportunity to use the Blizzard because Assassin gets killed first. So London with a chance to get it to 99, like London here, right? You get it to 99 if you can get them to use all of their ultimates, even if they take the point back. You're in a great spot to win this point.
Oh, Blase caught there. This time I think Fury checked him out. He was forced to the low ground. Decay is using his Death Blossom ability. He's going to Wraith War to the point now, but Mag's already been taken down. Sparker in the longer fight looked pretty good, but the Spitfire still see fit to regroup here, Matt. There's a Blizzard committed.
Yes, it was Assassin getting pushed by 4 members of London. He was really low, so had to use the Blizzard just to live himself. But they've given up the point. Now London's going to move on to the point.
London very quickly seeing an opportunity to outposition the Justice. Now there's an amplification matrix in play. Decay is forced to Wraith Walk away once more. The Ryan Shield will be there for protection now. Morph's trying to get rid of Fury before he can get back in the mech. It might not be possible though. Immortality Field taken down again. Mag with the charge. He's a menace. The Doomfist now forced to Meteor Strike for safety. Blase will drop back in, but Spark is already fried like a fish stick. There's Bebe falling to the self-destruct. Clearly didn't have a fade available, but Mag is still healthy. We're in overtime. The Spitfire have the point here. But now it looks like Molth was trying to stall for as long as he could from here on out. There's not much point in doing so unless you want to feed ultimates. And the Justice are back in control at 65 to 99.
And you're going to lose Ripper here late, so you're going to have to wait up for him to come off spawn. And Hardy's got to come through the shatter here. Every time I feel like we've seen Mag, drop one of these shatters, it's been impactful, turning fights and turning them in favor of the Justice, where now Hardy's got a chance with a shatter to flip this point in London's favor and take this to a third control point.
Symmetrical up, they've lost Decay. There it is, that high value first pick, but Mag quickly fires one back. Hardy's looking for a shatter here. It has to be absolutely gargantuan. And it's not. Shield was right there. He had to go for it, but Mag too canny. Kept himself protected. The shatter coming back the other way. Looks like it caught Sparker, but he was already dead to rights. Mag charges forward, doesn't quite connect. Now he has to trade blows with Hardy, who comes off decidedly second best. Now the Spitfire already down to 4 players on the point. Let's see how they hold. Blase very low, misses the rocket punch, and that one is gonna cost him dearly. It might cost them the whole map. Kalex tries to get in. It's a boop on Decay, but he Death Blossoms for a little bit of space. Now we can frolic in the garden as the rest of the Spitfire can only drip feed their way in. It's really just an irrigation setup at this point. The Justice take map number 1. and then bring back a difficult second round.
Yeah, as the second round was quite close, and London, when you get these types of, ultimate advantages, and also some of these fights, like you're being able to get decay first a lot here in map number 1. You got a few fights where you took Assassin out early. And we've talked about, Mag isn't he doesn't look the most comfortable on the Reinhardt throughout this season. Really fantastic on his Winston. But when you have this type of scenario, you got to be able to capitalize, which they don't in map number 1.
Stick around, everybody. A chance for the Spitfire to fire back. It looks like there's a little bit of hunger there, and they're going to need it because the Justice are looking to starve them out. Map 1 is done. Map 2 is coming up.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Indeed. We help people get jobs. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
Although conspicuously absent on Lijiang Tower, we still expect to see plenty of Sombra play in this series, especially from the Washington Justice. And Assassin it's no stretch to say that he is the #1 Sombra player in the league right now, according to our power rankings with IBM Watson. Matt, a rating of 135, if I'm not mistaken, puts you 35% above league average in terms of your performance aggregated.
Yeah, that would be accurate, which would definitely mean Assassin is way above the rest of the field. But I mean, Lip and Doha do have really good Sombras as well, as you see kind of the rest of the list kind of flesh out. So the next map will be Temple of Anubis. I had to get Ben Troutman to start tracking my rank stats, get me up in the IBM power rankings. I think I'd probably be about 132, 133. Yeah.
Okay. About
there. Yeah.
So I like how you've not picked the top, but you're very close to the top.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just self-aware, I know I'm not the absolute best, but I know I'm very close.
Tuning into Casters to Masters to see just how disastrous that statement turns out to be coming up. But obviously, Washington are on the receiving end of one of the fastest times we've seen. It was from the Mayhem. That was last year, where this was actually one of Mayhem's slightly weaker maps, and they managed to give them some real trouble. But this is a revamped, a new look Washington Justice. We were I was intrigued, I think, in the off-season, hearing from sort of Pre and Supreme about the changes they'll make to this team, and you can really see they've gone quite deep for a lot of them and brought on some serious talent. Decay flanked by Assassin is an incredible DPS line, and the Spitfire, I mean, they're hard at work trying to stave these two maestros off.
Ready for battle.
I mean, you don't really have to watch many analysis videos. I mean, all they could say is, we got Mag, Fury, and Assassin. And then we got, yes. And we kept Decay. Yes, that's pretty good.
5 head. 5 head.
Yeah, can't get...
exquisite combination.
Can't get much worse than that. So
okay, point taken. Point taken.
What are they? First off, let me clear that up. That was sarcasm towards Mitch. I know what he was saying. No, not just disregarding.
Matt's really
his
working on being more broadly appealing to all of you, so I hope you appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm trying to be more positive.
Oh man,
it's so difficult.
Just stop with the deadpan tone. All right, what do you make of this, Matt? We have... this is Shades of Coco. I've seen this before. Yeah. It's the Orisa attack on Anubis. Shout out 2018 Dallas Fuel.
It's definitely what you want to hear when your team picks a comp. Shades of Coco with the Season 1 Dallas Fuel. Look, they're going to play a bit slower. This is really like Bursty on the tanks, right? So... the Torb, the Reaper up close, the Brig bash, right? Halt bash, the Torb damage. Like, you really want to punish Mag for coming in, getting too close. So this is really on Mag to play this well and play safe.
Mag kind of knows it as well. You see, he barely dips his toe into the fray and jumps out immediately. Unreal front-loader damage, unreal tankiness to this London Spitfire composition. Yeah, they're not mobile, particularly, but they've got everything else. They're going to make their way as a unit, as one would expect, towards this high ground here. And Assassin can't do too much except try and taunt them with a couple sticky bombs here. He's already got Duplicator online, though. That could be critical.
Yeah, and the things we see sometimes with these compositions that struggle is, like, if they can't get Mag out, what do they do, right? Their win condition is to get a pick on one of the tanks and just kind of snowball onto the point.
Oh my.
So he gets nano boosted there. They still try and invest a Coalescence to finish him off, but they're not even able to get the line of sight on him.
Matt, that's it. This is it, though. We mentioned the Spitfire not particularly mobile, and that's exactly the aspect that the Justice are working to exploit. Here's a Primal Rage now. Only one Fade available for Reaper, then it's Fade to Black for the Moira. He needs to be real careful. And Mag is trained on that Moira. The pick-off there is good, and Assassin found 2 in the periphery. That's the Justice with a clean first fight. Not even one tick given over against this nasty Spitfire lineup.
Right, and when these fights go so long, if the London Spitfire are not able to get Mag early in one of these fights, we're going to see pretty similar stuff. They're going to build up the nano boost. They're going to build the Primal off of that. And that doesn't include some of these other ultimates they have, right? If you have to invest ultimates or abilities to try and take out, I know some of these players, there's a pulse bomb, looks like he gets eliminated there. Everybody just gets mowed down, though. If you can't take him out, you're just going to be in this cycle forever. And then when you invest the ultimates, they just get a res. I mean, yeah.
Ah, yes, that remake really threatens the stagger. You know, really makes that dangerous. Mag, I think he took a bit of damage from that, but he was full.
Yeah, it actually just helps them charge up the nano. Him taking
more
the damage
support ult charge for Bebe.
Yeah.
250 HP worth.
In those types of close quarter environments, so that's where the London Spitfire should excel. It was a nice boot from Fury from behind. If this is a 3-player biotic grenade, this is not good.
If you're squeamish, avert your eyes immediately, ladies and gentlemen. This is about to add a few years to the average rating, I think, for viewers.
Yeah.
Mac thinks twice about dropping in there. It looks like the Molten Core, I need to remember the proper name for that, definitely causing problems for the Spitfire. They don't want to move up. And Blaze's turret gets picked off. The Spitfire have 36 seconds left.
And we've had 2 fights. It's kind of really maybe 3, right? A few of them just kind of ended in disasters. This actually would be the first rally that you would get, as that's a pulse bomb. That's going to get a D-mech. They're going to have to use a self-destruct just to get a mech back.
Supercharge has gone as well. I think Hardy had the body block to make sure that Molf could get back inside his mech, but Assassin's got to go for the duplicate cage here.
You're going to have a nano again. Big biotic grenade. 4 players again.
Death Blossom from here. Hardy, yep, can't stay alive. That bio really hurts him. Spark is not in a position to get to any of these tanks. He needs to get into the backline, but instead, every tank is evading him. Bubble thrown down, Spark completely foiled. Now Kellex is trying to step up here. He's there with Reaper, but there's a Primal Rage online for Mag, and this is one of the most quintessentially nasty Winston performances against a very hostile composition that I think I've ever seen. The London Spitfire now have nothing but Hardy left. Takes more than a ball to get the job done. And the Washington Justice complete the full hold on point A as the Spitfire go for something new, something different, something not effective in the end.
You can see what they were trying to do. I think just the play of Bebe and, Mag was just so good. From, the Washington Justice side. But, if you're going to play that from London, you have to be really confident in being able to take out one of the tanks, right? Because you're not a mobile comp. You're not going to make any kind of waves trying to get back onto the Ana or the Mercy, even the Echo. You have to be able to take advantage of whether it's the Tracer or one of the tanks. And if you're not able to do it, you're just going to get rolled by a team like the Justice, who can play the Winston at an extremely high level.
So many things that were, even in a vacuum, completely lethal to Winston. That Mag had to navigate. He does it with aplomb and with great support from the rest of his team. Now, for the Justice, I'd be surprised that we saw a mirror composition, but we'll see this replay first. This is some Mag magic for you. Look for the bio. Yeah.
And you look at the health bars for Washington, like nobody even takes any damage to all of that. Like everybody's pretty healthy. The Justice, they'll play double shield with a sim here. So gonna close the gap, right? Be able to use the mobility from the sim, use the TP around the map.
Okay, so the Spitfire have decent tools against this. I kind of like the Hangzhou in this situation. Tough for any of the... Oh, no! The wall's going to keep Hardy in here now. I think the Spitfire have to double down on trying to keep their front line alive, but they're outnumbered inside these close quarters. Still, a lot of damage from London. It's still not going to get the job done.
It's the worst type of fight, though. Like, against the Symmetra, you can't allow these fights to go on for so long, because, look, I mean, Decay sits here. He's getting stronger as he does this. He is in no...
Living his best life.
Yeah, he's in no way even close to being killed. And they'll just walk onto the point.
With 3 minutes or so remaining now, the Justice are poised to end the map. It's just going to be Molfig on the Wrecking Ball. He'll be taken down, and so the map ends. A pretty quick one here for the Washington Justice. They have the answer to everything the Spitfire tried to throw at them, and make no mistake.
Yeah, they look clean today.
A lot of stuff at them. The Justice, yeah, much less streaky than we kind of have been critical about them in the past.
Well, this is the type of performance you want them to have. This is a London team that is struggling. You don't want to see these kind of close games when you expect to be one of the best teams in NA. You want to see these really clean, tight performances, which they're putting on right now. Just absolute domination there from Justice.
That is a selection of 5 crestfallen faces and 1 photo on the side of London Spitfire. Bit of MTD energy there, I'm feeling it. Stick around, map 3 is around the corner and the Spitfire have to recover from a harrowing second map.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. So much flavor, it's a mind crunch. TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League. And by NetApp, the official data management partner of the Overwatch League. The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by State Farm. For auto, home or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Just like summer in my bloody garage, the competition is heating up. The ancient deity Haru Eris has landed just in time to celebrate the Summer Showdown tournament. can get this Ana Legendary skin before July 19th. So not long, 10 days for just 200 League tokens. Obviously, can't call it Horus because there's already a skin called Horus. So we're going to use the Ptolemaic Greek name for Horus, I guess. This is, in my biased opinion, the best skin in the game. It is insane. So pick it up.
I don't know the lore behind it, but it looks cool. So that's what I'm about. Yeah, as long as it looks dope. I mean, I don't play much support. I bought this immediately in case I auto get filled into it. I have something to look forward to. I can at least show off my cool Ana skin, you know?
I mean, you played last night. You played Ana last night, in fact. So you even got to take it for a run.
One game. Yep, one game.
It's crazy. All right, everybody, welcome back here. If you've missed the first two maps, you not for the reasons you might think, you ought to go back and watch them. Definitely some interesting stuff. It gets it more interesting-er. That's a word. Here you go. Tuba gets subbed in for Closer. Tuba, historically known as the DPS player on this roster, most known for his incredible Genji performance at times last year, subs in for the main support, Closer. Oh, how the plot thickens, Matthew.
Not really looking too deep into this, but potentially this is like, you're not going to run the Lucio here in Eichenwalde. You want to run like Brig most of the time. Maybe Tuba's picked up the Brig for this team. Let Closer play the Lucio and the Mercy primarily. We'll have to see though. We have not seen Tuba on support. This is like, I think one of the first times, or maybe the first time this season, they've even made a sub in the support role. So really kind of uncharted territory here, uncharted waters for the Washington Justice. Everything they've been looking today, do today seems like it's been working fine though, so I'm not going to doubt it.
Yeah, I think we kind of talked about it in the break there. The Spitfire also been trying to mix it up a bunch, you know, just really try and counter some of what they feel are the stronger aspects of this Justice roster, and Washington have been able to adapt to that, which in and of itself I think is really impressive, a really good sign for what's to come for this team. Still, speaking of what's to come, there's another whole map and potentially more series to play here. And, you know, Tuba obviously, Matt, look, must be tough. You're sat on the bench behind Decay and Assassin thinking, well, getting along in the tooth here, need some game time.
Even Jerry. I mean, they played Jerry significantly more time over Tuba, right?
Absolutely.
So it looks like he will play the Brig, some double shield potentially for the Justice here on offense. London on D. The May McCree setup here with the Rhine Diva. We'll see how this works out. You may have that situation where the Justice can TP around the map, although don't have the speed, can close the gap and force fights on the objective, in which they continue to go along with these May walls and the tankiness. The Symmetra comes out on top.
All right, we may be expecting to see more Winston from the Justice on a map like this, but double shield, very durable composition. Again, much like the Spitfire's offensive setup, on the previous map, not known for its mobility, but once they get to swinging, once they get to fighting, that's when they look at their scariest. Spark is going to be frustrated. He's got a lot of shields that he has to work his way through in this McCree before he really starts to strike gold. And I don't mean a Orisa using Fortify.
And we'll see how they try to play this. Teleporter goes down, and you have a few players who make it through, but Hadi gets sped boost forward, gets a kill early on.
Yeah, that was a little bit tough. The Justice wanted...
They're going to give up 2 ticks.
No way! Oh, the teleport is so rude.
Yeah.
Assassin eventually gets clouted for that. But that is... now the Justice here, they have to take early fights now. Wow.
Well, in a fight where Washington gets kind of rolled, the Spitfire just roll on through and dominate. They still go up 70% on the point to just 3 players who just go out back there and cap. So Decay not going to play the Sim. He's going to go over to the McCree now.
Matrix mag low, very low. Shattered there. That's a good one from Hardy. The best shatter he's had all series. London Spitfire way dominant in that particular fight. The Justice don't spend very much, and it's good to see London making use of that Lucio point of difference between these compositions, Matthew. Yes. A bit of speed, catching the Justice off guard.
Yeah, and that's really what's separating them right now. The May walls come in from Blasé. If anyone's separated off, they get a speed boost right in. get the Rhine in position. This will be probably the best attempt that the Justice will have thus far with Gravitic Flux and their Blizzard.
Fury, known for being extremely deadly once the Flux is in hand. Eyes are scanning just to try and see anyone grouped up. Sparker. Okay, speed boost was there. The May wall almost stopped him, but he's still able to get mag. Decay finds a headshot. Decay finds 3. 2 of them were headshots, and Hardy falls for the 3rd. He'll step up to the point now, but the damage is already done. Only 1 more tick was required, and he'd be satisfied with himself. His face tells the whole story, Matthew. A nasty little bit of McCree play.
Yeah, they have to play so aggressive, London, because they had already given up 70% on the point. Assassin able to keep his Blizzard for this next fight in case they try and take a close one. We can take a look from Decay's POV. The Amp Matrix here, I assume, definitely provides some extra damage. So, yeah.
Yes, it does. Those headshots, though, looking mighty clean. Nice to feel that powerful on McCree, getting 1 hit. Spark with a Hunter from the high ground here. Definitely more defensively angled, and he's able to push Decay off.
You still see some weird things from the Justice. Rally comes in first, but man, you still lose a lot of players early sometimes, whether it be like Assassin or Decay. They have to be better against some of these other top teams.
Hardy's caught in that Blizzard, but there is a sound barrier there. Yeah, some wacky stuff still, to be sure. Mag loses that supercharger, and this is the Deadeye from Decay, which got cancelled pretty darn quickly. He'll take the free reload, though. And here's an Air Matrix. Can Decay work with that as McCree once more? The Dragon Strike might make it a little bit difficult, but he found Sparker anyway. That's 1 for the McCree. Fury playing back a little bit, wants to pressure the shield of Hardy, and the Hyperspheres go clinking.
Decay on the flank just kills 2 and gets a demon. Just walking through the castle. You gotta, I mean, there's 3 players there. You gotta be able to punish that regardless of how weak you are. I mean, even if it's just turn quickly and somebody deal with it, like, letting him kind of walk through the castle there and being able to pick these players off from behind. That's how teams have really kind of beaten the Justice, because you've seen it a few times in this series where Decay gets picked off first. Gravitic Flux here, Blazeo Ice Block out of it. That's a shatter, just gets Tuba.
Assassin knocked off the map. Huge value there for Kellex. And Fury knows this fight's probably over. Sends him over the edge either way. And that'll be it. The Spitfire, they're going to be able to hold out here with 2 minutes or so on the clock. They also don't use that Amp Matrix from Reaper, so they're in good shape. It was a bit of a dodgy Gravitic Flux, man. Only catching 1.
Yeah, and I think it was almost a little bit of an emergency. I think he may have gotten walled off, or Mag may have gotten walled off, so to try and prevent some of that rush that's going to come in and the damage, use the Gravitic Flux. Good position to be in here, though, if you're the London Spitfire. Amp Matrix, Self-Destruct, and Blizzard, with only 1:33 on the clock for the Justice.
Decay and Co forced to stay inside for now, having a shelter against that Batiste ultimate. Here's a Blizzard. It's a good one from Blase as well. Mark was already taken down here. Decay. Oh, Decay playing inside the ice, apparently. We're not going to be able to find him 1 on Blase, and this Dragon Strike here should seal the deal. 1 minute and 10.
And Mag got split off so far that they were able to deal with it. But now that's a Dragon Blizzard Amp Matrix used in that fight. That's a pretty large investment. Decay now will play Widow. Nope, back to the McCree. Just maybe trying to get a pick. So it looks like maybe going back for another change. Okay, so the Sim going to try and get to the cart rather quickly here with the Symmetra.
The Justice want to bypass a little of this defensive setup that the Spitfire have. The wall will have to go first, though. So it does. Okay, that's a TP to the high ground. Decay was ready to fight the moment he materialized, and it's going to be Sparker just diving away. Doesn't do much, though, to unseat London from this high ground advantage point.
No, and it looks like they're going to have to put some type of pressure on the cart. That's a halt that knocks down Sparker, so you're going to be able to take out the Hangzhou first.
It's going to be a big shatter from Hardy. As I said, Gargantuan, he's going to make it happen. But it looks like the Justice were ready for him, so now he just looks a little bit awkward in the back line.
And the Amp Matrix here, now what are you going to...
Nothing, you have to leave it, you have to abandon it.
Yeah.
Gravitic Flux now, it's all gone wrong for the London Spitfire. They were in position to to end this round. It's got to be a sound barrier in midair. Fury sees Sparker straight away and says, no, I need to prevent him from getting it towards the point. In the meantime, the Blizzard came down and there was no one there to help Molfig. Hardy, that shatter, he held onto it for so long. He gets rid of Assassin with the Fire Strike here, but he's going to be surrounded by foes, and that will be that second checkpoint. The 1 minute 30 extension achieved.
And London was playing so good on defense there, and then they just they try and go on this long roundabout flank with the shatter. It gets red. They know they're having struggles getting back to the cart. They use an Ant Matrix in a position where as soon as they drop it, they have to rotate, so they're not even able to get any value out of it. And then you lose Sparker here, just kind of staggering out of the spawn, gets a close spawn, and the Justice take advantage of it. And this is giving the Washington Justice an opportunity to finish the map.
Dragon Strike. Wall used here. Decay not in range, but he will be in a moment. He's working on Hardy's shield first and foremost.
The what?
Air Matrix is there, and Kellex just goes and has a cordial tete-a-tete with Decay. I mean, unreciprocated, I suppose. He definitely wasn't there for a friendly chat.
And they end up dropping a Blizzard here towards the end. And Blase is dead. I mean, you kind of have to use it because it doesn't look like you're going to be able to get back and get a good team fight here towards the end. This will be the May wall used, and then the Symmetra wall as well to split up the point.
Sparker still needs to be dealt with. Fury takes him low. It's a nice shatter from Hardy. It catches Bebe. This could be the comeback for London. Yes, they're in control here. Hardy sets it up, finishes off Bebe with the shatter. Chasing Mag down. He'll eventually have him as he tries his best Bambi impression. And that'll be the round.
All right, so London does get a hold there right at the end. So although it started to get a little bit scary there for the London Spitfire, they do hold on. So they give themselves a clear win condition. What can they get done on offense? You know, Temple of Anubis, their offense was really non-existent. What can they muster up here to get us to a fourth map?
Much different to Temple of Anubis here. Defenders don't exactly have the best high ground vantage to play from here, and that's what really helped the Justice in keeping Mag clear of, I mean, any of the 6 key threats on the Spitfire's roster in that composition. Here, I guess, you play a little bit more longitudinally, or at least on lower ground. The Spitfire, well, I think it comes down to Sparker finding an opportunity here early in the round, find that pick, and then run over for point A.
And this is where the Justice should actually have less problems with their composition. I was going to say that because they can have Tuba play the Brig, and they're not, you know, worried about missing out the Lucio speed. Evidently, we'll get the Tuba Lucio here on defense. But yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to say, is that, you know, if you're going to have Tuba play the Brig, because we didn't see him play the Lucio on offense, which is quite odd that we now see him play Lucio on defense when they probably could have played with the Brig if they would have wanted to here. They played Sim May on the defensive end. We'll see what London decides to do. London has not played any of the Sim. It's really been a lot of like May McCree, now May Hangzhou.
I think Spark tried it in map 1, right? But that's it.
Yeah, for a little bit. They never went back to it. Yeah, so we're going to see them play the McCree.
Right, Spitfire realized this is going to be a fight. Had more at close range.
And then Rhine Ball.
Okay, Molfig on the Wrecking Ball.
Yeah,
and this is caused a problem. I mean, this is big pile driver value, potentially. Against no flash, they don't have anything to kill the ball, to be fair.
I mean, well, they have the May slow, right? And the Symmetra turret's constantly slow. That's a charge there after they lose Kellex from Haughty. He ends up taking out Mag. But he's going to lose his life there, yeah. So you trade Rhine for Rhine. Maybe you're able to make something out of this as the displacement from Molfig comes in.
I don't think he wants to pile drive. Well, maybe he does, in fact. I thought he would have tried to pile drive that low ground there. Again,
he would have died if he did, I think.
Key player here, Matt the McCree. Oh, he doesn't care about the Matrix, baby. Punished for his hubris. 3 up for the for the Justice, excuse me. But again, with the Wrecking Ball, you have to wait for the Rhine, and that's a great wall. It's going to force half of the Justice to cower behind it for the time being.
Tuba just
their watch has begun.
Are you going to try and challenge this if you're the Justice? Fury
yes.
goes over the top.
Yes, but also no.
A little late there. This has been an odd one from the Justice. I'd love to know the rationale behind the Tuba sub. but don't think we may never know. As the Justice now control high ground, they'll have sound barrier here for the next fight coming in, but most importantly, the Blizzard, right? You can jump down onto the cart, use this Blizzard offensively.
Somehow, I think there aren't too many games you would be able to sub-tube into, if not this one, Matthew. Assassin very low. Decay takes a huge hit from the Air Matrix, but survives it until the pile driver connects. Mulfig with 2. The Minefield able to snatch up the Baptiste kill, and the Spitfire go from strength to strength on this round.
Yeah, sir, they're able to make this Rhine Wrecking Ball composition work as the ball creates a really good displacement. Rhine can, get the speed boost, get in there, do some damage after the big pile drivers. See now, Mulfig's set up on the high ground and know where everybody's coming from. Oh, and Fury with a nice boot there.
Oh! Okay, he had the grappling hook only just. Can Mulfig get back? He can't.
Is he alive?
Wait for it! The Techers! Tuba! Okay, I think that Tuba knocked him way earlier on that. It's just delayed on the kill because it took him a while to drop. That's uncomfortable. Still, the rest of the Spitfire make short work of the Washington Justice here. London looked much better.
Yes, it's a big shatter there from Hadi. Connects with like 4 players, even after the sound barrier from Tuba. And the Justice are just getting rolled. I thought if you're going to have Tuba in, maybe it's a break situation, but they have him play the Lucio.
That's a fat shatter!
He just walks up and shatters. He just walks right up, shatters, and connects with 3. So now you'll be able to start to put together some defense. I actually think London may have to switch. I don't know how effective you can make the Wrecking Ball here towards this later part of the map.
Mulfig, though, very close to a minefield. Something that could definitely garner some value. And the Justice will play close here, as you probably expect. Give Decay and the Assassin some room to work. Mag checks that corner with third-person view, and they go forward. Air Matrix is in play once more, but the Deadeye's going to claim Assassin. A 1-for-1, and Decay makes it 2. Didn't even need the Matrix for that particular kill, just a nice body shot, and that minefield we teased earlier on, that's the value they were looking for. However, Kellex can move the card up a little bit more. Mulfig, if he can disrupt Mag, could do something here, but Decay just gets overwhelmed by the Wrecking Ball. Now the Justice might have to fold back a little bit here. Mulfig's causing some problems.
No, they absolutely do have to fall back. They're going to have to wait for Decay to get up. You are also waiting for Blase for the London Spitfire. Try and get back into this fight. As he has this Blizzard, made the Blizzard with a pile driver, some rush around the corner. They got to be careful though with Decay playing from a distance with this Deadeye.
Goes for it early, speed boost, but there's a wall in the way. Another wall. Okay, Wrecking Ball flash there. Mulfig's forced away for the time being, and Mag was able to find Blase. The Blizzard sets up that kill on the May, and Mag's looking for a little more. Sparker has no flash and just wanted to try and run away, and Mag will not be letting the Spitfire abscond without sustaining some serious casualties.
And no, it's not going to let Kellex just kind of hang up there with his life, but the cart moved back closer towards the gate. So London, it looked like obviously you're setting a tremendous time with how they were going. You're going to be up against the clock in a bad way here, right? You have 5 ultimates, potentially the 6 coming online in this fight. Depending on how many you use and expend here, if you don't win this fight, you're looking at a bunch of dry fights to end the map.
If not here, then when is the question. Can't ask for much more than that from Mulfig. And yep, they get Mag. He'll have to back away for the time being. The Deadeye's there, nothing. Air Matrix is in play right now for the Justice. So this Deadeye is going to be extra scary. Wall goes up. Decay blocked away, and Mulfig's in the backline harassing that McCree down, but Blase's Blizzard gets eaten up. Sparker now has to go to another gear, but it's a shatter. Another one from Mag. It's going to catch the main, crucially net the kill on Mulfig. There's a nice block on the point, though. See the Washington Justice all just take a breather. They recoup, and now they're ready to go once more. Blase tried to stave off Mag, who wanted to get the better of Hardy there in close quarters. And Bebe's Immortality filters down. Self-destruct here, Matt. Oh, the stun is perfect. They set up the kill on Kellex.
And exactly what I was talking about is now you're worried. You use all these ultimates for the London Spitfire, and you're not able to take the point. It gets so close. Assassin does a tremendous job stalling it out with the May wall and then his ice block. But now you come back with London, a minute and 20 on the clock. you're probably looking at two, maybe like a junk kind of third fight out of this, where Washington's going to have huge ultimate advantages.
The Justice may be on the verge of pulling off one of the most unbelievable defensive endeavors we've seen for quite some time. Assassin's down early though, Matt. Could have spoken a little bit too soon. The fire strike is amped, doesn't find anything, but Decay gets the body shot on Sparker. It's enough to get the kill. Immortality field removed. It's an amp matrix, this time coming from the London Spitfire, but Decay strikes again. He gets rid of Blase. Is there nothing this man can't do? Outlaws beware, this man is on the job. Wall thrown up by Molfix, finally able to get rid of Decay, but there's a blizzard. It is a zoning one at that, and the Justice get to, I guess, luxuriate inside the Snow Dome while the Spitfire are forced to back up. They've got Mag, though. There's a chance for Sparker to do some serious work. Fletter tried this earlier this week and it looked pretty darn good, and Sparker wants to try and emulate it. Fury's gone down. There's another ice wall thrown up, and off to the left. That's where Bebe's standing right now. The Baptiste desperately trying to keep Assassin alive, and he does so. Mag comes in with the shatter. It's for 3. There's going to be a sound barrier in play here for the Spitfire, but they still lose Reaper. The main source of their healing is off the table. They get rid of Bebe though. Deadeye from the side as Decay gets rid of Kellex, and Hardy gets finally rid of Mag. A flash here for Decay. He holds onto it too long though. Didn't have a chance to get rid of Hardy. The self-destruct's going to be dodged by all the Spitfire, and back comes Sparker. He gets the headshot immediately on Tuba here, and a tactical visor is going to be available. Fury doesn't have much defense matrix left, and he uses what little of it he has to keep the wrecking ball standing. Mag now on the ball himself, trying to do his best Molfig impression. The Reaper has to back away though. Decay needs to Wraith walk out of this fight, and Sparker could be in trouble now. He has to stand on the Mega, still in overtime. The Shatter gets Fury, he's knocked down, and the Wrecking Ball over the top again for Molt, but Reaper's down. Assassin gets rid of the Moiter in the back. Bionic Field is all that was keeping Sparker alive, but it keeps him alive enough to get rid of Decay. This might be short-lived now for the Soldier 76, as Assassin is still nipping at his heels, and Blase falls to Fury. Sparker getting a Helix rocket kill, that's a crucial one indeed. Molfig's gonna have to go for a minefield, but he still needs to clean up these kills. Adapted shield, sound barrier, 3 in play now for the London Spitfire, and they have plenty of durability, but one by one, the Justice step up to the point, man. I can't believe this is still going. Molfig finally removed by Baby. There's gonna be a sound barrier here. This is insane.
Sound barrier here for Tuba, Amp Matrix as well for Bebe. You're gonna have a self-destruct as well.
Oh my God.
Somehow the Justice are able to win that. I mean, that is unreal there. Just tremendous cycling of the point there for Washington. You see how much it's taken out of the players there at the end. But no, London was in a great spot to win that map. They had like 3 minutes plus going on final stage. You got Tuba in on Lucio, and they're not able to do it. Really nice play there from the Justice at the end. And Tuba, it's very odd that he comes in to play the main support, but he did have some big kills towards the end, able to juggle the point with Fury through the minefield, and then the sound barrier. So yeah, the Justice get a clean 3-0 sweep today.
Yeah, Tuba comes on, plays the Brigitte, quite aggressive than the Lucio when required. Washington's side.
Final point. I mean,
the cycling,
what in the world is that?
Yeah, it is insane. Obviously, Ice Block cycled that in conjunction with the Immortality Field. You have a May Wall to come up, Sound Barrier in the mix there. The Washington Justice, it takes a lot of tenacity, I think, to even approach that defensive scenario with the right mindset, because it's like 4.5 minutes on the enemy time bank. You're down to the last point. The card gets very, very close, and still you hold your nerve. You're not winning the round. It's been a long time since I've seen anything remotely like that. That is astounding, phenomenal
6
play.
Divas was the last time. Yeah, 6
I would
Divas.
say so. Yeah, back when the game was incredibly, incredibly unbalanced. Let's talk about a player of the match presented by Xfinity, and today it has to be Mag, absolutely embodying the spirit of MTD. And we kind of highlighted before the show, Matt, that his Reinhardt, as far as Watson's concerned anyway, wasn't really impressive. This guy was touted to be a, king of all trades on the main tank, and now we get to see that Reinhardt, why he was so hyped up. The Winston looks incredible. The fact, Matt, that the Spitfire craft this composition specifically to kill Mag, and he doesn't die here on Temple of Anubis. I cannot believe it.
Yeah, I thought Mag was tremendous today, Bebe as well, but the ability to land the shatters constantly against the London Spitfire, the Winston play on Anubis was, I feel like, probably the biggest difference there. It was a real, MTD today from Mag, and I think that's exactly what you want to see for you're a Justice fan supporter. is him play well on the Reinhardt, which he did today. We know how good he is on the Winston. I mean, you can look back to that first match against the Dallas Fuel with him versus Fearless and that Winston matchup. You're starting to see him play a little bit more of the Orisa, but now is Reinhardt really starting to show up big. I mean, you see the numbers in this series. I mean, the Earthshatter kills, just massive, right? Big damage coming down. So Mag really starting to come into his own here.
Yeah, look, very aggressive. Match up for him against Hardy, who's constantly just trying to pin him sometimes, just to try and find the kills. They traded a couple of times in that scenario on Eichenwalde especially, where, Hardy's he's on attack. Can we get rid of Mag? Can we get rid of this Reinhardt? Punish him here. Really interesting series, I think. Purely from an academic standpoint, yes. I guess you could say sometimes. Look, especially if you look at that, the way that Anubis sort of played out, and then Eichenwalde, I think we now have the masterclass of, really defensive holds at the end of a map, how you cycle those ultimates crucially, and don't overextend at all. I mean, really pretty flawless stuff there from the Washington Justice. This puts them at 2-1, so they're definitely eyeing off a spot now in those knockouts, Matt, and they're looking much improved. Stick around, everybody. When we come back, we're going to hear from the man himself. Mag will give us the word on their stunning victory against the Spitfire.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome to Game Break presented by Cheez-It Grooves. We're joined now by Mag from the Washington Justice, and he is, of course, our player of the match for today's game. Mag, big congratulations on the win today. 매그 선수 오늘 POTM도 받고 또 이렇게 인터뷰도 해주셔서 너무나 감사드립니다. 승리 너무나 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
Big thank you from Mag. All right, let's jump right into the question. So my first question for you, Mag, is we've seen you guys play a lot of different comps in this match against London Spitfire, ranging from Ryan Rush comps, Winston Dive, all the way to even Double Shield. Was this specifically for London? 자, 첫 번째 질문은 이제 오늘 경기에서 좀 굉장히 다양한 조합을 쓰셨던 것 같아요. 우리 또 워싱턴 저스티스 팀이 뭐 라인 조합도 썼고, 윈스턴 다이브도 했고, 또 투방벽도 썼고, 좀 이렇게 다양한 조합을 쓴 이유가 뭐 런던을 위해서 좀 이렇게 특별하게 준비를 한 것인지 아니면 그거에 대한 어떤 결정이 어떻게 이루어졌나요?
이번 메타가 조합이 되게 여러 가지로 뭔가 약간 쓰는 팀마다 스타일이 있잖아요. 뭔가 어떤 팀은 투방하고 어떤 팀은 막 윈스턴도 하고. 근데 저희는 약간 좋은 맵에서 좋은 조합을 쓰자 이런 식으로 약간 모든 조합을 다 다룰 수 있어야 된다. 어떤 상황이든. 그래서 약간 런던전 때문에 그렇게 준비한 건 아니고 그냥 뭔가 더 큰 무대를 갔을 때 이게 안 되면 이걸로 하고 이런 식으로 뭔가 여러 가지 다 활용할 수 있게 연습을 했던 것 같아요.
그러니까 좀 어떤 상황이 와도 좀 그거를 대처할 수 있는 모든
네.
조합에 좀 능할 수 있는
네,
그런.
네, 약간 어떤 팀이든 네, 다 상대할 수 있게.
Alright, so my answer would be it's not actually specific for London. So, you know, as all of you guys know, right now the current meta in the Summer Showdown is using a lot of various different comps, and sort of each team has a comp that they sort of excel at. So our thought process going into today's match and for the Summer Showdown is, you know, we have to sort of be good at every composition in every different map possible. So, you know, well, if we even go further into the knockout rounds and going into the future, we're going to have to be good at basically using not only Ryan comps, not only Double Shield, but also Winston Dive as well. So we're sort of using all of the compositions that we could possibly do and sort of try our best to be good at all of the compositions that are being used in the current meta. All right, so my second question for you, Mag, is we saw Tuba being subbed in for Closer for the last map, Eichenwalde. What was the reason for subbing in Tuba in for Closer? 자, 두 번째 질문은 이제 마지막 맵 아이헨발드에서 교체가 이루어졌죠. 또 이제 클로서 선수가 나가게 되고 이제 뚜바 선수가 들어왔는데 질문 쉽습니다. 어떻게 해서 뚜바 선수가 들어오고 클로서 선수가 이제 나가게 되고 교체가 어떻게 이루어졌나요?
그 아무래도 약간 다른 팀 보면은 글래디의 스큐드 선수라든지 다른 메인 힐러가 아니어도 브리기테를 하는 선수들이 있잖아요. 약간 전담으로. 저희도 약간 그런 느낌으로 한번 브리기테 완전 잘하는 사람을 한번 키워보자. 이래서 저희가 준비를 했던 것 같아요. 약간 그런 브리기테 전담으로.
브리기테 전담으로. Okay. So Max says that, you know, like if you see from other teams, just as for example Gladiators and Skewed from Gladiators, there's times where it doesn't have to be the main support that plays the brig. So I think what we're planning to do is sort of make Duba become our sort of our brig player for the Washington Justice. So we wanted to try that in Eichenwalde. So that's why we subbed in Duba, because we wanted him to become our sort of a brig specialist for the team. Alright, that wraps up the interview. Mac, thank you so much for your time. 매그 선수 인터뷰해 주셔서 너무 감사드립니다.
아유, 감사합니다.
감사합니다. Alright, let's head back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Danny. Cheers to Mac and his team. Congratulations, of course, on the W. They now just took over London. Now, map 1 and 2, you know, just regular old business. We saw different compositions. They showed us a lot of different looks. Everyone was happy. Then we headed to Eichenwalde, and it got a little dicey. So I wanna start right there. Reinforce. You just heard what Max said. They want to have Tuba kind of becoming their brig specialist. Are we buying that? Is that going to be a thing?
Yeah, I mean, we have some other teams in the league doing this, where, for example, Skewed is playing the Brigitte for the LA Gladiators when they play those compositions, and Moth plays the Lucio and the Mercy and that kind of stuff. We have seen a couple of teams do that, but I mean, honestly, do I think that the fifth form of justice is going to be Tuba when you already have distributive, procedural, retributive, and restorative? I don't think so. I don't think this is the long-term solution for the Washington Justice. You know, I really just want to talk about the interview Danny just had with Mac, because it was super interesting. Yes, the Washington Justice, they 3-0'd on Spitfire, they full held them here on Temple of Anubis. I mean, it was a game, okay? What is really interesting to me is the Washington Justice and their superstar aspect. The aspirations as we get closer to the season playoffs. Because honestly, this is a superstar team. You got Mag, probably the most anticipated rookie coming into the season. You got Fury playing the off-tank, Decay, Assassin. All of these players have been lights out. This is a team that is 7-4. They are still to make it to a stage playoffs. And now they're saying that they want to play all kinds of compositions. They want to be really good at Reinhardt comps. They want to be really good at Wrecking Ball, Double Shield, Dive compositions. When this is not normally how we view them and their strengths and what their players individually excel at. How do we feel about this, Costa? And now also as well, I mean, even integrating Tuba into the main support role. Is this what we want to see from the Washington Justice? You know, when they should be excelling and when they should be qualifying for all these stage playoffs? Because I feel like they're undergoing a bit too much change at the moment, and they're trying to do too many things at once. It's a short season. You gotta win games. You gotta make sure you even make it to the season playoffs to begin with. But it does make me a bit concerned that the Washington Justice are trying to outsmart themselves here a little bit.
I think it's like a yes and a no. To the Tuba situation, it's a no. I don't like the idea. Like, the Gladiator situation, Scoot is a main support. He's been putting a ton of time into the Brig. He is very good at it. He's one of the better Brigs that we have in the league. So that sort of makes sense. But I think trying to force an integration of Tuba into the main support role when you could just be enabling closer, especially because it goes against what Mag said in his interview, where they want to be diverse, they want to be versatile, they want to be able to play anything at any given moment. Tuba can't do that. You can't have Tuba just switch to the Lucio all of a sudden or switch to the Mercy if they decide to do that. So they're sort of pigeonholing themselves in with the roster. But on the other hand of yes, I actually like that they're willing to play all these other things. They're willing to play the Double Shield, the Reinhardt, because you're going to want that versatility on lots of different compositions heading further in, because you don't know what the meta is going to be in the playoffs. You need to be able to play anything. Yes, they could win games just playing, you know, Tracer, Sombra, Winston, because they're great at it. They could have easily won this match playing that style, but I like that they're willing to practice on stage and practice multiple different things, because that is going to be important looking into the future, which really is the most important part.
Some might argue that you should practice during scrims to try out new things, you know, as to not running the risk of dropping very crucial maps, which again can come back to haunt you at the end of the season when we're looking at map differentials to qualify for certain things. Also, of course, there's always this big danger when you're trying to become a jack of all trades. You might end up as a master of none. So it's a thin line to walk. Let's see if the Justice can continue on that path. Now, we have some exciting things still to come today after this first match, because later Dallas will take on the Houston Outlaws in the Battle for Texas, where Dallas will actually be playing in front of their home crowd. So it's going to be like, you know, watch party meets homestand. So it's really like a watch party with benefits, which I absolutely love. Danny, we're excited for this.
Of course, I mean, who wouldn't be? You know, I feel, you know, the players are going to be happy to see the fans and, you know, perform in front of their very fans. Fans are going to be happy to see their favorite players play on stage. If players are happy and the fans are happy, then we're all happy. Overwatch League is happy. So yeah, everyone's happy.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better. Yeah, what he said.
Yeah. Yahoo!
No, we're super excited.
Yahoo!
A little jealous. You know, I miss those days. I miss watching
true.
with like-minded people. It's a great way of making friends or enemies, depending on how you are. But it's.
What do you do at live events, Sully?
I'm very committed to my team. A good thing about this one is that it's a Dallas watch party. So I assume every fan is just going to be a Dallas fan. I don't want to be the Houston fan stumbling into this one.
There might be.
But if you are, be extra loud. I'd love that actually. It's I'm gonna add that spice. Now I can't wait to see the players live in Dallas this afternoon, and of course their fans cheering for them. It's gonna be a great time. I hope we get some footage from that. And if we don't get it on the show, please make sure to post it on social media. We're gonna keep our eyes peeled on that. So if footage or photos to share, please do so. Now we do have another match, of course, coming up first, which is the Gladiators going up against the Toronto Defiant. And that is going to make it into our crunch time for Toronto Defiant, presented by Cheesy Grooves, because they're looking to clinch a spot in our Summer Showdown, Costa.
Yeah, both these teams, this is a very important match. Toronto Defiant obviously going up against the Gladiators. For Toronto, win and you're in. For Gladiators, it's win to survive right now. So it has massive implications. So obviously Toronto Defiant on here, as you can see, is 2-0 with a +4 map record. So they're sitting pretty, but they play today against the Gladiators and tomorrow they have to play against Dallas Fuel. So they have by no means an easy path forward. So they're gonna have to get a win against some of these teams. So if they can close it out today, that would be great. And Toronto has been looking so good so far in the Summer Showdown, just putting on dominant performances and just playing their games. They haven't had any big wins as of late. They've just been beating teams that they really should. So this is the real test for the Toronto Defiant. Are they going to be a team that deserves to be in the top 6, that really is going to make a name for themselves? Because Toronto Defiant has historically not been a great team. Are they finally going to break through that barrier today or tomorrow? I think only time will tell.
What are your expectations? Reinforce, what do you want to see? What are the keys to victory? What can Toronto do to take down the Gladiators, if anything?
Well, really, I honestly think there's a lot of expectations here on the LA Gladiators to perform themselves, because we saw in week 1 of the Summer Showdown that they played a lot of dive compositions. They enjoyed playing these Sombra and Genji compositions way back then, right? So Toronto Defiant, I think this is a prime time to capitalize on the LA Gladiators experimenting a little bit. I have no idea what the Gladiators are going to bring in terms of compositions. And if the Toronto Defiant can get a good read on that early, make the adaptations necessary to get themselves an advantage in that compositional battle, I think that they definitely have the individual player skill to actually get away with a win here. This is an LA Gladiators team that, yes, they have tons of potential. They should be a top team. They were a force to be reckoned with in the June Joust, but they still have their moments when middle of the pack teams like the Toronto Defiant can capitalize on some of the uncertainty. And this is one of the matches here where the Defiant, the ball is in their court, really. They could definitely get away with a win here.
Yeah, and I want to say it on the record here, Danny actually tried really hard to convince me to pick Toronto Defiant for today's match right before. I don't know if that's him trying to speak it into existence. Are you trying to convince yourself that you want to pick him initially and just what's going on? Or are you just trying to make me fail?
I don't know, for some reason I feel like this one's going to be a close one, and I initially picked Toronto.
You can switch, Danny. We'll allow it right here if you want to switch.
Yeah,
to
you
Toronto
can switch, Danny.
It's a safe space.
Yeah. And we're your friends. We wouldn't mislead you.
No, of course not.
And you tried to convince me, so clearly you're believing in the Toronto Defiant like quite a bit.
You wouldn't
do that
I'm
to
gonna,
me, right?
You know, as an Angelino, I'll support Gladiators, and I'm gonna stick to my guns. And this time, because I don't want to be a liar again. I was a liar yesterday. I'm a changed man.
Well, I can't wait for that Toronto Defiant post-match interview with you, Danny.
That was a lie right there. You're not a changed man.
Now, we are about to be ready for all the action, and I have the utmost pleasure of handing over to potentially still our favorite casting duo. I think they're still rocking the #1 spot last time we checked. Of course, we're talking about Vicky, Kitty, and Jaws. Hello and welcome to the show.
Guys, it's been such a long time. We've been missing you guys. We kind of have like the opposite schedule, like casting on the other side of the world, but you guys are still #1 in our hearts.
You guys
is Carl still rank 1, by the way? Can we check that real quick? Is Carl up there? I can't remember the caster power rankings, to be honest with you. I think we need a
There's been a lot of drama with Carl. We don't talk about Carl anymore.
Okay.
We've had a bit of a falling out with the broadcast. Matt tried to go a little too far with him. Yeah, he's down there. You guys are #1. Don't worry about that.
Okay, good. Trust Matt to try and go too far with that kind of thing. Oh, by the way, Custer, trying to deceive young Danny over here. Blimey. We know you're rank 1 in predictions, mate, but come on. Come on.
Danny, you don't get to sorry. Shores, you don't get to number 1 without sort of kicking some people down a little bit.
Okay, right.
You're already number 1.
Yeah,
You're 4 points.
You gotta stay number 1, Johnny. It's this kind of vicious sort of instinct that you need to stay here. So, you know.
Also, in Costa's defense, Danny tried first. He was getting the knives out first. So I
have no idea what they're talking about. I'm just in
right.
I'd be terrified to come onto the desk, by the way, just in case Custer backstabs me, just randomly out of nowhere.
Hey, I'll find a way, Jules. You're never safe.
Scares me. Right, okay. I think we should go into the match now. We'll leave those guys.
Yeah. I was gonna say, we got some good matches coming up. We're gonna leave you guys at at bay. Get you guys to say yeehaw or what did he say? Yoo-hoo! I was like, what is this? Like wrong franchise, but yeah, we have some great matches coming up for you guys soon. Jaws, I'm really excited. Of course, we got a special occasion for our second series, but we have to get through this first one here, and it's going to be the LA Gladiators versus the Toronto Defiant. Watchpoint, they basically covered it for us. They talked about how the Gladiators, they're pretty consistent as a team. I mean, you and I talked about this too, but the Defiant, have a trick up their sleeve, and recently it seems as if they're getting their foot on the ground.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Aspire's come into the roster, formerly of American Tornado, who's on loan, current 30-day contract. This guy blew everybody out of the water. I don't think anybody was kind of expecting someone from Contenders to jump straight into a team that was already well established and then kind of take it to the big guns. You don't really expect that a lot of the time. And I think the Toronto Defiant kind of leaning quite heavily now on him, Vicky, honestly. It's going to be a tough upwards hill battle, I feel. I mean, the main superstar for Gladiators, and has been for quite a long time, Space, his diva play is going to have to be exceptional because Aspire's going to be in your backline 24/7 killing your supports.
He's always been that top quality off tank that you want to keep your eyes out for. But yeah, to kind of reach back towards Aspire and what we're going to be seeing from the Defiant, this is a player that I actually got to cast a little bit of during the last Contenders tournament where he actually won with American Tornado. But, he kind of took a step aside, and I saw him type in the chat like, yeah, I'm taking a quick break, by the way, from running Overwatch League scrims just to make sure that we win this, by the way.
Let's have a look at the Gladiator starters and who's playing today, to start off at least. Vicky, we've seen a little bit of an adaptation from the Gladiators in the DPS line, who they want to field in. Does look like we have Birdring and Mirror coming in first. And Mirror has always been a fantastic, I'd say, specialist on a lot of different heroes, Doomfist being one of them, but he's actually picked up a lot of the Torb recently as well, which might be a little bit more of a hindrance to the Toronto Defiant than they might think. The Torbjorn deals well with the Tracer a lot of that time. If you're on the flank of the Tracer, you get picked off by the turret, not picked off like killed, but if you just get chunked down, it stops you from really going in. Tracer, very small HP pool. That recall is exceptionally valuable when you want to go for these pulse bombs or just trying to pressure the backline. And if Mirror just sticks on this Torb, Aspire's going to have a little bit more of a tougher time.
And you have to also consider Birdring on the Sombra too. And as we get set up, why don't we take a look at Toronto now? That we were talking a little bit about the Tracer. Taking a look at Aspire, who's been able to pop off on that Tracer. I believe he's been on Tracer like 66% so far within this stage. But yeah, Hisu is going to be joining him on that DPS lineup. Sado, Michelle, Ansunjae, and Lastro. This team recently finally getting some of that momentum going for themselves, because I feel like they had a rough start, and now I feel like a lot of people are taking their eyes and fixating it on this team right now. See, as we get started up on this lineup here. But yeah, no, this team is looking a lot better in comparison to what I had considered, honestly, before they had won their last 2 series.
I love how their cameras were like tinged with red, by the way. Looked quite, there you go, you can see it again. A little bit demonic. Maybe they're a little bit out for blood right now. And really, they should be. Custer's down on the desk already. Well, Toronto, what do they do if they win? Well, they go straight into the Summer Showdown. And the last time they actually made it to a tournament was actually in the June Joust. They actually got beaten out by sorry, that was the Gladiators who made it into June Joust. In May, in fact, is when the last time they actually managed to make it into a tournament. So they really want to bounce back and get in there again. They've been on an absolute tear recently. The maps, I think, are going to heavily dictate on how they play against the Gladiators, because like we said before, Aspire, fantastic Tracer player. Anywhere he can play that pick is going to be perfect, and it's up to the Gladiators to kind of match that, or even just straight up counter it, like I mentioned with Mirror on the Torb. Lijiang Tower will be the first map. It's got to be Mirror Doomfist here. It just has to be.
That's what I'm expecting here. I know on this map we're seeing a lot, or in general actually, we're seeing a lot of the Symmetra TP teleports getting a little creative with those angles and those approaches. But yeah, when I take a look at this team here, we got Hisu that has been mostly running that Sombra, but then we have Aspire who not only could pop off on that Tracer, but pops off on that Doom too. Gladiators to replicate that. You were just talking about Mirror. Of course, we've seen his Echo pop off too. So a lot of options on the table for both these teams as we get set up. But Jaws, what are you anticipating? Other than the Doomfist maybe mirroring up against both these teams, are you anticipating anything different? Because it looks like we got the Symmetra out too.
Nothing crazy from what we've really seen. Mirror sticks on this Bastion, I'll love him forever, but I highly doubt that's going to be the case. Doomfist, no Torb. Torb's a little bit more difficult to play on this point. There aren't many crazy, annoying turret spots you can put it in to stop any flankers, and there aren't too many big flanks on control maps anyway. That's just the nature of the game mode. TP's out for both teams, though, and it looks like almost a complete mirror. In fact, it is a complete mirror, so it's all skill diff at this point. And getting the punches on the backline as well. There's a nice little backboard there for Aspire and Mirror to just punch each other into. Both Immortality field's been used first, Vicky, as Mirror and Sado go down.
They have to deal with the Immortality first, and because they were able to take care of that, Mirror's the first one to go down here, but being able to win in their favor, it's going to be the Gladiators that are going to send Defiant back to the spawn. A great start for the Gladiators, as that was a good statement to be made. Toronto Defiant, they're going to be able to regroup and get together here. Lastra's coming up on the Ant Matrix, and so is Shu, who already has it.
Oh, that was close. Model was boot people into the water down there. Oh, okay. Whoa. That was a fully charged sim right click there, and something, I'm not entirely sure what that was, a couple of Cheerios, I think, sent out from Unsoon-J. Almost one-shot Moth, that would have been disastrous. He's so close to the beat, though, and they've got window to stave off the aggression as well.
Let's see what's the opportunity here. The teleport is coming out. Here comes the two windows to face off. A window to your soul, but Aspire punches down Muse. He's out of this fight. That's the main tank out for the Gladiators, and look how much damage Space is taking. Mirror is popping off. Aspire trying to replicate that, but Mirror finding two here is going to get him a lot. Aspire now hearing me gets the uppercut, but the rest of Defiant are out of this fight. Jaws and the Gladiators, they maintain their lead on this point.
Yeah, the TPs as well are going to really help them get back into the fight rather quickly. A lot of ults online as well. The only issue really is Unsoon-J is 10% away. You can imagine he's going to get beat. They're going to go White Room once again, but assaulting this point is going to be rather difficult. Muse holding the Shatter just at the gates. It's going to be pretty easy for him to let it loose if Mirror can find a combo. There's the beat, engage, and the wall being used as well.
Honestly, yeah, because of that wall, actually, the sound barrier couldn't help out Defiant there. That was absolute game-changing. They can hold on to the photon barrier, but the Gladiators utilizing those ultimates without having to overextend there. They had the Shatter, they had the photon barrier, but they still are holding on to these ults that Defiant need to desperately try to take this point with.
Yeah, 25% to go as well as the Gladiators are nearing the victory on this first round. Here's who can use this big wall to engage. Although Mirror, it's pretty easy for the Gladiators. I mean, they just kind of run through it, or they just put up this window. Looks like an TP in though, Vicky.
Behind them, they swap spots! They swap spots! Oh, what is going on? Defiant! They nearly missed the Gladiators, and now the Ant Matrix is out. The Photon Barrier to help Defiant utilize that for some extra space. Mirror's found the first pick here, so it's not looking so great for Defiant. They also won't have Lastro and that Immortality field. They won't have the Ant Matrix, and currently the Gladiators are on a tear. It's a good thing at the desk, Jaws, they were able to opt for this prediction because the Gladiators are trying to carry that momentum into taking the Toronto Defiant. Put a stop to their win streak. They take the first round 100-0.
That was a beautiful little switcheroo, completely flipping sides. But the big thing that opened the fight there for the Gladiators was actually that self-destruct from Space. He just launched it in. As soon as that teleport was taken, they knew they couldn't really take it back. Otherwise, they'd lose all that positioning that the Toronto Defiant actually gained on the point. So what happens? Self-destruct goes in, the L will have to cram around the point. They even used the wall as well to separate, but by that time, Mirror was already up in the air. They'd used the Toronto Defiant had used Immortality field as well. Mirror tried to go for a cheeky uppercut to try and get people killed by the self-destruct, but it didn't end up working out. Space separating everybody the self-destruct there was the perfect play that the Gladiators needed to seal that round.
It honestly just seemed like the Gladiators just had answers for every single approach option that Toronto Defiant was trying to initiate with, specifically on Sujay's sound barrier. But now going on, it's another round here. Here comes a Doofense flying in, and Mirror's found the first pick again, this time on Aspire. Already winning this trade. Sado's found Muse, but it doesn't matter. Defiant are going to already have to reset here, but the Gladiators are trying to overextend as much as they can against some of these ultimates. A team wipe. Mirror, we see you. We see you, Mirror, being able to pop off right now.
There's a lot of weird diags you can actually get on this map in that small corridor by that mega pack. You can actually diag straight onto the point to try and punch someone into the wall. There's a lot of cheeky angles Mira could kind of go for. Aspire's going to be the main point of the Toronto Defiant. He's really just a defensive tool a lot of the time. Beautiful punch away actually from the teleporter. Uh-oh, he's in trouble.
Oh, the snipe with the immortality field. It saves Sato. He was so close to dying right there. Mirror is diving in, and he got the meteor strike to reset. He's found Ansuje. That's huge here. That's both supports out, and the rest of Defiant can't deal with Mirror. This is such a big deal, because meanwhile, you have Bergring doing so much damage on the point with these turrets.
Absolutely disgusting. They Toronto Defiant try and like out-rotate the Gladiators by TPing Sato in, then trying to follow up, but Mirror just punches him away from the TP, so Sato can't zip back to the rest of his team. He was isolated. Lastro had to use the immortality field, and that was history, really. Now Gladiators using the window to push Toronto Defiant back even more.
Oh no.
50% on the board already. Mirror goes for an aggressive push, but massive shatter.
Oh, they were so fixated on Mirror trying to go in for the flank. The Shatter now landing through the Defiant, trying to go back to the spawn for some safety. The sound barrier, the Gladiators are trying to send it forward. They're getting so aggressive. I mean, was it worth it? They utilized the sound barrier. They utilized the Shatter. They have the photon barrier, but now the Defiant have a clear path to the point.
Muse touched the spawn challenge. He's still in the spawn of the Toronto Defiant, by the way. There you go, you can see him coming through server room now. Mirror's still on the flank. Moth going down's pretty bad, though, because they can't speed back to the point now, and Muse is going to be left high and dry. Looks like the Toronto Defiant are going to cap, and Gladiators going for a reset. They should be able to come back in here fairly quickly, though. Shu opening up, using a lot of that space with the window is going to be the aim of the game. But the Defiant have got so many ults online. They can even use that beat super aggressively here to try and win this next fight. Mira's still on the flank. If he can find a punch onto a DPS or a support, this could be game over for the defense here of the Toronto Defiant, but it's going to be a hard ask. The only beneficial factor for him right now is I don't think the Toronto Defiant actually know where he is.
I think actually Aspire may have seen him because he took a little bit of damage there. And yeah, now here comes Mirror though, trying to come in from the flank of the Defiant. The photon barrier from Hisu. They're trying to rotate through these ultimates smartly here because now the sound barrier is coming in and the Gladiators don't really have much to work with. Muse has already gone down and Moth is going to meet him back. Michelle finding two with the Diva Bomb. Sato's holding on to this Shatter, and this is going to be necessary on trying to stall out the Gladiators because they have that 75% extra credit in comparison to the Defiant. So, you know, maybe thinking here a little bit, Jaws, maybe the Gladiators shouldn't utilize all those tools that they had in Defiant spawn.
Yeah, Defiant, I mean, they don't have a lot of ults available now, but they still have that Shadow online. Aspire is going to be such an aid to the Defiant right now, because on the defense, the Junkrat is so frustrating to deal with. He should be able to get Riptire rather quickly. A nice little high ground advance here from the Gladiators. They send Mirror in, but look, already he's just getting checked by two people.
He came in from the heavens and thought he had a plan and then got shut down. I mean, he got Space, but then Space got him right back after he got out of the stun from the Shatter. Meanwhile, Mirror trying to pressure out Aspire, who has that Riptire. Lastro trades that by finding Mirror in the two with the Rip. Yeah, Jaws, Shu and Bergring going down is huge because now the Gladiators, despite them having 85%, the Defiant are going to be tripling in.
Beautiful Riptire from Aspire. They knew it was winnable as soon as Lastro got that kill. If you have your main healer alive in that situation, you can kind of jostle the point. You know you've got a crazy powerful ult in that Riptire, and there's not really much to kill it. Sato has to, or Muse even has to line out for a beautiful Fire Strike to try and take it out, but it's not going to be successful at all if it's just whipping around in the air. 95%. Mirror's going to go in again as he jumps straight on the supports. Alastro's already dead.
And he starts that engagement with the sound barrier too. That's going to enable Mirror, and now with overtime taking away the Defiant, they take control, but not for long with the Gladiators flipping it immediately. A great way for the Gladiators to make this push, and they have some ultimates too to work with, Josh. It's going to be difficult for the Defiant. Michelle forced to reset with the Diva Mech. It's overtime ticking away, and the sound barrier only on Ansuje and Aspire. He's just trying to go in with the photon barrier, but Mirror is forced to reposition. He's got the health pack, but they're not finding these picks as quickly as they need. Aspire has finally found Shu. That means the Immortality Field won't be a threat. But look at this. Hisu doing so much damage. Somebody needs to stop the Symmetra. That's when it's mostly lethal, when this fight is going on for way too long.
Yeah, OT's going to tick down any moment as well. Defiant are going to find the cap on the point. Lastro kills off Moth, and there we go. Defiant taking a round off of the Gladiators. That was a fantastic beat, by the way, from Ansuje. Hit 3 people. Aspire was coming back from the spawn, so the beat didn't really affect him too much, but actually hitting the Diva in that situation, when she's in a pilot form, a baby Diva form, keeps her alive for so long, able to remech and then just carry on the fight as Sato rolls in as well. Mira and Doomfist as a character, as a hero, is kind of frustrating to play against. Everybody, I'm sure, already knows that. You get punched in the floor, feels pretty bad when you get one shot by a Doom. But it's so reliant on cooldowns for obvious reasons. But as soon as Mira uses 1 or 2, the Defiant know that they have quite a nice breadth of gap there to kind of move forward and try and punish the rest of the Gladiators, or even punish Mira. Doomfist is basically useless without his abilities. And as soon as Mira tries to go in and fails this engagement, the Defiant capitalize on it over and over again. Looks like they're going to try Mira once more, though, with a Spire on the Doomfist as well.
And TPing getting a lot closer to the point first. Mirror, though, needs to be contested. He gets duffed, though. It's Aspire who wins that trade. He was taking some pressure. He tried to reposition, but with Aspire allowing the Defiant to move on to this point, the Gladiators may actually take this a lot more patiently. They're using the teleporters, though, and they're repositioning right away. The moment they get into that situation, Space takes a lot of damage. He's already been demexed, but with Shu having the Ant Matrix, that was the green light for the Gladiators to not give up just yet. Michelle gets a quick 2K, but he gets pinned by Muse, who's about to have the Shatter, by the way, and if he lives through his Immortality Field, he could get it.
What a lamp! That actually saved. Ever so narrowly, Muse was going to go down. The lamp actually saved him. A nice connection there from Mira to stop Sado Charge actually connecting. Ansu-J uses the beat to try and go back in.
Oh, Muse comes right back in. He not only finds his fire, but he lets it rip with the Shatter. The sound barrier from Ansun-J, but Defiant now won't be.
That's a lot of damage.
They're finding these things. Sado finding 3 right now. Being able to help with that sustainability from the Defiant looked really good, but when you have the Gladiators, specifically Mirror, pressuring your supports, it's difficult. They reclaimed the point, but look how long that fight went on for, Jaws. The point had not even been turned in any favor for any of these teams.
Yeah, it was actually ridiculous. No one going down for that long. It's absurd. I mean, look at the ults people have built up as well. Gladiators can use the wall fairly early. He's already used his, so the Gladiators can split point in half if they really want to. It's going to stop a lot of that damage coming through from the Self-Destruct, the Shatter as well. 2 people laid on their back, but a perfect counter beat there from Gladiators.
That was going to be Muse in space. Yeah, Moth, though, with the Sound Barrier. He gets called out by the Diva Bomb, though. The Gladiators have the Immortality Field, but with losing Birdring, Aspire is going to be on a tear. Actually gets shut down by Space, but now the Diva Bomb coming in, he wasn't a tier, pressuring those backlines, and Michelle was right there to help heal. Keep the rest of Toronto Defiant in this fight here. Hisu's gonna get that follow-up onto Muse, dealing so much damage. Look how big Hisu's beam is, by the way. So now they have to consider the fact that these turrets are already gonna be set up on the point too when they wanna get back in.
Yeah, nice little double reset there from the Divas to get back into mech ASAP. That was super nice. Yeah, keep the sim alive, and like you mentioned before, on Control Center, the longer the sim is alive, hey, guess what? You do more damage. That beam just shreds through shields and refunds ammo as well. Like, Sim is a crazy hero, by the way. Pretty good at destroying shields. Gladiators are going to be able to come back in again. With only a Shatter to their name, though, Hisu's just going to use this wall fairly early, I can imagine. There it is. The Shatter's still going to hit Sado, though.
Yeah, but he gets saved by the Immortality Field. Another insane Immortality Field from Lastro, and Ansun-J's Sound Barrier is going to keep them in that fight. Now Sado's got the Shatter. He may not even have to use it because they're burning through the Gladiators. They're able to take control on this point, and the Gladiators are kind of trickling in. They're trying to figure out what to do differently here, Jaws. Shu's about to have the Ant Matrix at least going into this next fight.
Yeah, the Ant Matrix is a little bit tougher to use here, though, as well. There's only 2 main doors. Yeah, you could shoot everybody on point, but with the Lucio, you can more or less speed through it, especially when you have a Doomfist, too. Just punch straight through the window if you're brave enough. Maybe get Matrixed on the way there as well. Just like they're going for a teleport play, though. There's the window, and look, everybody just leaves.
Oh, was that? It actually seemed like a bait almost, where they put the teleporter right in front of the Gladiators, and then they opted to actually just back off the moment those ults were called. Here comes Aspire though with the Meteor Strike 2. It's going to be a double Meteor Strike reset. The Shadow we already saw used by Sado, and he's found Shu too with the pin. So the Defiant, despite finding these picks, they're losing heads way quicker than the Gladiators because Birdring has already gotten set up. That teleporter had allowed those turrets to get sent right through, and they're repositioning. They have to deal with Ansu-J though, who's been quite a pesky pest to deal with, and Birdring's turret does the job for them.
That was a really nice clutch by Mira. He actually isolated Lastro. Ansun-J, yeah, was up in the skybox just trying to stall for some extra time. But if you push Lastro anywhere out from the fight, well, Defiant don't have healing. There's no way they're going to be able to survive against the onslaught of damage that Birdring, Muse, and Space are doing. Very aggressive beat Engajo from the Glads. They know if they win this next fight, Vicky, the Defiant are going to have to touch almost in OT.
But because Defiant's teleporter setup didn't work out like they did before, yeah, they're just going to be a reset from the Defiant. Yeah, that situation, they tried to go for a teleporter reset there. But the Defiant, unfortunately, got shut down by the Gladiators there at the very end. They were just able to isolate them before they went through the border.
That sucks for Michelle actually there, because Mira actually got a lot of that HP transferred into ult charge. Another quick TP up. Oh my god, they're still going.
Oh, in the room,
big beat
funneled in for the shatter. It's a sandwich. And talk about big diva bomb. Instead, finding 4 space. Absolutely on fire, focusing down to on a lot of these isolated heads of the Toronto Defiant. Overtime ticking away, but these Symmetra turrets, not only are they going to be dealing so much damage, but now the Gladiators have control over this space. You see Sato just trying to desperately force his way into this choke point. Aspire's found burgering, but the rest of Defiant are nowhere to be found. The Gladiators now take control over map number 1, and they're going to be up in the series 1-0.
That was insane. TP rotation. As soon as they heard them on the high ground, they're like, we can fight this. Space just gets up there, presses Q, and what else can you really do? The Defiant had a very nice beat engage there after the shatter as well, but that was an unbelievable self-destruct. Space just walked in the room. The Immortality field was already out because they were so scared of Sato just swinging through them and swinging through that photon barrier as well. Wow, what an unbelievable positional play there from the Gladiators. They take the first map 2-1. This is going to be a close series, I feel. The Defiant aren't looking too hot, but that's actually ended their 5-map win streak as well now, Vicky.
Yeah, I mean, even though it went down to the wire for that last round, round 3, of course, for that first map, I was honestly going into the series thinking, all right, the Gladiators, they are way more consistent. Toronto Defiant, this is a team that has recently started looking a lot better. I feel like they finally are feeling that confidence with the rest of the team. And now, going into the rest of the series, it's very possible. Even though Gladiators are currently up 1-0, we currently just saw a super close first map. We're going to be moving on to a map number 2, though. On the other side of this break, everybody, don't go anywhere. This is the Overwatch League.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile.